The latest data from the American Bar Association is in, and it's shedding light on some fascinating trends in law school demographics for 2024. We're going to talk about gender, but first, a quick overview. Every year, the ABA requires all accredited law schools to submit something called a Standard 509 report. These reports include tons of information about law school enrollment, financial aid, demographics, and more. Now, if you've been paying attention, you've probably noticed that women have been dominating law school enrollment for a while now. In 2016, women officially surpassed men in law school enrollment for the first time. Since then, they've outnumbered men every single year. This is a huge change from the 20th century, when women made up less than 5% of all law students. So what does the data show this year? Women once again outnumbered men in law school classrooms for the 9th year in a row, making up 56.09% of law students compared to 42.49% men. Meanwhile, just under 1% of students prefer not to report their gender, and about 0.5% identify with another gender. To give you an idea of just how much women are dominating, over 84% of law schools report having more women than men enrolled. And among the top 20 law schools ranked by US News & World Report, 17 have more female than male students. That's a huge leap from 2016, when only 4 of these top schools reported having more women than men. And if you look closely, you can see that the legal profession is starting to reap the rewards of women's progress in law schools. For example, women now make up a majority of all law firm associates. 1/3 of all federal judges are now women, and on state Supreme Courts, they're even better represented. 43% of all justices are women. What about leadership and legal education? In 2000, only 10% of law school deans were women. Today, that number has skyrocketed to 42%. Women also make up 44% of law school faculty, compared to just 20% in the 1980s. But before we celebrate too much, it's worth noting the flip side of this trend, a troubling decline in male enrollment. The number of men enrolling in law school has dropped every single year for the past 14 years, from 78,516 men in 2010 to just 49,028 in 2024. That's a decline of more than 37%. So what's causing this? Some reports suggest it starts early. In the US, girls are 14% more likely than boys to be prepared for school by age 4. By high school, girls dominate the top percentile, while boys are more often in the bottom. This pattern continues into higher education. For decades, women have consistently earned more bachelor's degrees than men. Today, for every 6 women enrolled in US colleges, there are only 4 men. Here's a bit of history. In 1970, men made up 57% of all college and university students. In response, Congress passed Title IX just 2 years later, prohibiting sex-based discrimination in schools that receive federal funding. Fast forward to today, and the gender gap has flipped. It raises an important question. What, if anything, should be done to address low male enrollment? If you'd like to dive deeper into the data, including which law schools have the highest and lowest percentages of women, check out the full report linked below.